Costs are vastly inflated. They've gone up and up. They've spiraled and spiraled. The delays have been remarkable. And in the end, it's a waste of time and money.
Yeah, so for starters, civil engineering projects, I'm a railway engineer, civil engineering projects generally, they're generally off to a rocky start in the UK. We have a bit of a strained relationship with big infrastructure, as I'm sure people in London looking at the Crossrail delays kind of stacking up will attest to. But the most important thing is, firstly, it's actually really important that we split out the idea that there's some impact on taxpayers from the borrowing to build HS2. Totally separate things. Capital projects come from borrowing against future returns, as household. National finances don't work like household finances. We're not losing money when we invest in HS2. That we can continue to borrow more. So there's a justification for borrowing more than just for HS2, growing our ability to move people and things around with reduced carbon emissions. So the cost question really is a bit of a red herring. Actually, we need to be investing far more of our GDP in sustainable transport projects, not just major projects like HS2, but also in sort of city, urban redevelopment projects, new metro lines in Leeds, Bristol, as well as Manchester and Birmingham.
You said at the beginning, we need HS2 to help save the planet for reasons of the environment. But a lot of people would say, actually, it's destroying the environment. It's destroying villages, lovely swathes of countryside.
Yeah, those people generally are doing their very best to paint HS2 as some sort of destructive monster, but actually the reality is very, very different. On carbon emissions, for example, the entire carbon emissions from both the construction and the operation of HS2 are equivalent to about 1 month of road transport emissions in the UK. The really important thing that gets lost is that HS2 themselves and government have done an absolutely appalling job, a dreadful job of explaining what HS2 is for. And the most important thing that HS2 achieves, the main benefits, are not actually on HS2 at all. They're on the existing railway network. So, when you stand in smaller stations, like Hemel Hempstead or some of the stations in and around Birmingham, at rush hour, you maybe have 2 trains, and maybe 15 trains whiz through without stopping because they're on their way rushing towards London or up towards Manchester and Leeds. The challenge with that, the point of HS2 is to move those trains onto their own dedicated lines so that the existing railway network can run much more efficiently. So you can run lots more trains, which means that you get many more local, commuter, and indeed regional services, plus the ability to transfer a lot of freight off our roads onto the railway. So HS2 has been very poorly explained, and as a result of that, you've got this build-up, this environmental opposition, which really comes from a position of not understanding what the project is for and how important it is to reduce our overall transport emissions.
Well, thank you for giving us your explanation of